Welcome back to the End of Days Chronicles channel. Have you ever wondered about the fascinating history and whereabouts of the 12 tribes of Ishmael? Curious to know where they live nowadays and how their ancient heritage has shaped their modern communities? Join us on an extraordinary journey as we unravel the mysteries surrounding Ishmael's descendants. Who are the 12 tribes of Ishmael, and what is their connection to biblical history? How have these tribes preserved their cultural traditions and customs throughout the ages? Are they still nomadic, or have they settled in specific regions? In this captivating video, we'll embark on a quest to uncover the present-day locations and vibrant lifestyles of Ishmael's descendants. From exploring the genealogy of Ishmael to tracing historical migrations and discovering the influence of Islamic traditions, we'll delve deep into their fascinating story. Today, the Jewish people claim their descent from Abraham through his second son Isaac. However, not many people are aware of what happened to the descendants of Ishmael. It is often assumed that they simply became the Arabs of the Middle East, but our knowledge about them is limited. The Bible provides some information, stating, "But as for Ishmael, I have heard thee, behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation." Genesis. The generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, born to him by Hagar, Sarah's handmaid, are listed in Genesis. The names of his sons are Nebo, Kedar, Adel, Emsum, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tur, Naphish, and Kedma. They are described as 12 princes according to their nations. Genesis. David J. Gibson embarked on a project to map the chronologies of the Bible. In the process, he encountered the puzzle of what happened to the sons of Ishmael. His son, Dan Gibson, continued the search after his father's death. Dan traveled to the Middle East and dedicated over 30 years to this quest. He explored various regions, including the empty quarter of Arabia, the mountains of Yemen, and the deserts of Saudi Arabia. Dan also consulted renowned archaeologists and extensively studied books and theses in pursuit of answers. The Muslim understanding of the origin of the Badan tribes is presented in a chart. Some Bible scholars associate the Muslim katan with the biblical jacket. The biblical account of Ishmael provides the names of his 12 sons, but does not offer any clues about their connection to the modern Badan tribes. This list is found in Genesis and is later repeated in Chronicles. Over time, these sons of Ishmael married, had children, and formed tribes. These tribes comprised the nations that inhabited regions from Havilah to Shur and from Egypt to Assyria. However, it is important to note that Ishmael's descendants were not the only tribes in the Arabian desert. Other tribes emerged from different sources, some becoming the people of South Arabia while others settled elsewhere. Among Ishmael's sons, Naboth is the most well-known. The Bible provides more information about him and his tribe Nebat, compared to the others. In the realm of sheep raising, Isaiah mentions that the names of Naboth and the Nabateans are frequently found together in Assyrian records. The Jewish historian Josephus specifically refers to Naboth, identifying him as Ishmael's eldest son and equating the Nabateans of his time with him. Josephus claims that the Nabateans inhabited the entire region extending from the Euphrates to the Red Sea, which he referred to as Natin, or the area where the Nabateans roam. It is worth noting that Josephus obtained this information directly from the Nabateans themselves, who spoke and wrote an early form of Arabic. Consequently, Greek and Roman historians often referred to them as Arab. Prior to Josephus's account, Assyrian records provide insights into the interactions between King Ashurbanipal, 668 to 663 BC, and the tribes of Arabia, including the Hagaru, possibly the descendants of Hagar, and the Natu, likely the descendants of Naboth, Ishmael's eldest son. In 703 BC, a group comprising the Hagaru, Natu, and Kites, descendants of Ishmael's second son, rebelled against Sarib, the Assyrian ruler. Fleeing from Assyria into the Arabian desert, these tribes were unable to be conquered. The Assyrian kingdom eventually divided into the rule of two brothers, one governing Babylonia and the other ruling Assyria. In 652 BC, conflict erupted between these brothers, and the Kites invaded western Assyria in support of the Babylonian king. However, The Kites were defeated and sought refuge with Nabat, the leader of the Nabateans. Later, the Kites and Nabateans launched an attack on the western borders of Assyria but were once again defeated. Following their defeat, Nabat's son Nuru was declared the leader of the Nabateans. 300 years later, the Zinon papyri from 259 BC mentioned the Natu engaging in trade and transporting frankincense from Gurion and Manan to Gaza and Syria. They utilized the Karaite centers of northern Arabia, such as Jah and Tama, as trading routes. Ancient Nabatean pottery has also been discovered along the coasts of Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and the Persian Gulf. References to the Nabateans living along the western edges of the Arabian Peninsula and in the Sinai are also found in ancient records. These Nabateans were known as pirates who sailed the Red Sea and plundered trading vessels. Later, they established bases in various seaports, including the port city of Ayla, modern-day Aqaba, located 120 kilometers from present-day Petra. While the common perception is that the Nabateans transported goods through desert camel caravans, historical records increasingly suggest that they were also a seafaring trading people. In 586 BC, as the Nabateans gradually migrated north into the Jewish lands that had been emptied by Nebuchadnezzar, the tribes of Arabia also began moving northward from their port city of Aqaba. The Nabateans found it convenient to occupy the quickly emptying land, eventually establishing it as the heart of the Nabatean Empire. The precise chronology is unclear, but it is believed that some Nabateans remained behind, while those who immigrated into Judea became known as Edomites. These Edomites were among the people who opposed the Jews during the reconstruction of the Temple in Jerusalem under Ezra and the rebuilding of the city walls under Nehemiah. Over time, the Nabateans developed an impressive civilization based on merchant trade. Their capital was initially the city of Petra, situated deep in the sandstone mountains of southern Jordan. Later, the city of Bostra in southern Syria also served as a royal city. The Nabateans constructed several other cities in the Negev region of northern modern-day Saudi Arabia and in other parts of the Arabian Peninsula. In 106 AD, the Nabateans surrendered their empire to the Romans, leading to the eventual disappearance of their distinctiveness. As previously mentioned, the sons of Kedar became known as the Kites, who were the primary military power among the descendants of Ishmael. Isaiah refers to the glory of Kedar and their skilled archers. Ezekiel associates Arabia with the princes of Kedar, suggesting a confederation under their leadership. The Kites were in constant conflict with the Assyrians, Neo-Babylonians, Persians, and even the Romans, all recognizing the importance of controlling the commercial routes in northern Arabia that were initially under the dominion of the Kites and later the Nabateans. Nehemiah's opponent, Kashem the Arab, has been identified as one of the kings of Kedar from the mid-5th century BC. Assyrian inscriptions reveal that Sarab captured several Arabian deities in the Karaite city of Duma, including the chief deity Adaram, also known as the morning star of heaven, which corresponds to the Mesopotamian Ishtar. The Kites formed a tribal league known as the Confederation of Adaram, and their religious practices were led by a series of queen priestesses in Duma. Their pantheon of gods included Dushara, Nuhai, Ruda, Abiru, and Atar Karuma. Ruda was known as the evening star, while Nuhai was the sun god. Herodotus, in the 5th century BC, identified two deities worshipped among the Arabs, a fertility god called Oral, possibly Ruda, and a sky goddess named Aot, later referred to as Allah in the masculine form. The Kites are mentioned in several passages in the Bible, always described as nomads. Psalm 120 laments the distress of the speaker who has taken refuge in a place called Mesek, among the tents of the Kites. Isaiah 42:11 mentions Kedar in a song of praise, and Jeremiah 2:10 advises the children of Israel to inquire with Kedar about the practice of forsaking their gods. Jeremiah 49:28 contains a prophecy against Arabia Hazor and Kedar, foretelling their destruction by Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. Ezekiel 7:21 laments the city of Tyre and mentions Arabia and the princes of Kedar trading lambs, rams, and goats with Tyre. By the middle of the 4th century BC, the Kites gradually fade from historical records as the Nabateans come to the forefront. The tribe of Adel, often associated with the people in the land of Arubu, became subjects to the Assyrian king Tiglath-Pileser II, 740–4727 BC. Their chieftain Idi-Alu acted as the Assyrian king's agent on the borders of Egypt. The tribe of Adel was said to dwell far west, and some historians speculate that they resided in the regions of Siai, Emsom, and Mishma. It is believed that these tribes may have intermarried with the Simonites and eventually disappeared as a separate entity. Duma is mentioned as a city in the biblical records. In Canaan, Joshua is associated with Edom and mentioned in Isaiah. Historians generally identify Duma with the Adumite people. Usar-Haden's records mention his father Sarib's conflict with Adumu in an attempt to subdue the Arabs. Sarib captured their king Hail, who was known as the King of the Arabs. King Kazil, referred to as the King of the Kites, is mentioned in an inscription of Ashurbanipal. Geographically, Adumat is often linked to the medieval Arabic city of Duma el-Jandal, which was a crucial junction on the trade route between Syria, Babylon, Najd, and the Hejaz area. Dumat el-Jandal, located at the southeastern end of Al-Jaf, denotes the lower region of Wadi as-Sirhan, a depression between Syria and Mesopotamia. This area served as a stopping place for caravans coming from Tama before continuing to Syria or Babylonia. The strategic location of Duma made it the gatekeeper to North Arabia, and the oasis in this territory was ruled by many North Arabian kings and queens, as recorded in Assyrian records. The tribe of Massa is mentioned in the records of Tiglath-Pileser III, who received tribute from the inhabitants of Massa and Tma. Archaeologists have discovered graffiti script mentioning the tribe of Massa in connection with Dedan and Nabat. Some speculate that the tribe of Massa may be associated with the Maseno of North Arabia. The Hadad tribe may have become known as the Harar or Harina people who lived near the mountains, northwest of Palmyra. There is also a Hadad tribe in Arabia, many of whom are Christians located in Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine. Tama is associated with the ancient oasis of Ta'a, located northeast of the Hejaz district on the trade route between Taima, Medina, and Duma. The present city of Tama is thought to be built on the remains of the ancient oasis Tiglath-Pileser III received tributes from Tama and other Arabian oases. The Assyrians recorded the defeat of a coalition led by Sami, queen of the Arabs, which included the city of Ta'a and various tribes. Tama was regarded as an important place, and Nabonidus, the king of Babylon, made it his residence during his reign. By the 1st century BC, the Nabateans began to dominate Tama, and it became part of their trading empire. The city is mentioned in Isaiah and Jeremiah as a subject of prophecy and in Job 19–20, where Job laments the loss of his wealth and the hopes of plunder from the troops of Tma and the armies of Sheba, Yemen. Thank you for joining us on this meaningful journey through the 12 tribes of Ishmael and their modern-day locations. If you found this video insightful and thought-provoking, we'd appreciate your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing to our channel. May God bless you.